So we're in the middleweight division again here in Clan Wars. Maciej Glerszewski in the green shorts. And the roof has just lifted off the Ulster Hall as Aaron Wallace made his entrance. Aaron has the board shorts with the grey trim. Referee Declan Larkin kicks off this contest, and there's going to be a lot of people here at the Ulster Hall, Jay, that won't be happy if Aaron Wallace loses.
Yeah, and it's Glerszewski landing some big shots early on, and the crowd has gone crazy for Aaron Wallace. He's got a big following here in Belfast, and he's got something to live up to.
And to be fair to Maciej, he certainly hasn't been taken aback with the reception, and he's thrown quite a few good shots over the top there, putting Wallace on the back foot.
Yeah, Glerszewski is not shying down from this challenge. He's landed some good left hooks, keeps coming forward, and that's a heavy overhand right as well.
He seems to have found the distance a little bit earlier than Wallace. Yeah, Wallace didn't trying to settle in, but of course having such a strong following, that puts pressure on the fighter they're following as well.
Yeah, there's positives and negatives to the situation. Obviously there's a lot of pressure, but if you're in a tough spot, it helps buoy you as well. So, Glerszewski landing big shots. Wallace countered with a straight right. And these guys are going in hard, and they are two big guys as well.
They really are going at it. And, you know, sometimes there probably is an argument for fighting anonymously where nobody knows you. But Aaron Wallace certainly doesn't have that luxury tonight. As you can hear, there must be at least 4 million people behind us shouting for Aaron Wallace at the moment.
Bare minimum. And here he is on the cage, gets that takedown, and the crowd have gone mental. Let's see what Wallace can do to translate this takedown success.
Well, it was quite a nice takedown, well executed. So I agree with the crowd this time.
And he wants back on his feet. Yep, Wallace gets it back on the feet, and there'll be a few twitchy bums, you might say, as these guys are going to start slugging it out on the feet yet again.
Absolutely.
Glerszewski goes for the high kicks.
I don't think they're actually getting over Wallace's shoulder at the moment.
Nah, Wallace is a tall guy. Good straight punches there from Wallace coming down the pipe.
He started to find a home for that jab now, starting to find the range that Maciej found early.
Oh, both guys with big right hands simultaneously, but Wallace capitalizes. And Glerszewski pulled guard there, ate a few heavy shots, and dragged the fight to the mat.
I think he might have needed to. The right landed by Wallace looked like it was a big one. He certainly felt it.
Yeah, he wanted to clear his head most likely, and he's by himself a little bit of time. And now looking for some submissions on the bottom, trying to climb the legs. The longer the fight goes, obviously the harder that becomes. But Wallace on top, chopping away with some shots. And Glerszewski looks for an armbar.
A decent attempt at armbar there. The hips are switched, but it doesn't look like there's enough time left on the clock. And referee Declan Larkin's right on top, and he stops it.
Saved by the bell there for Wallace. And the crowd will breathe a sigh of relief. Glerszewski got tagged hard with some punches there, but still had his wits about him enough to look for some submissions. What a first round.
What a first round indeed. And both men look tired but ready for another round, so I think we might be in for another treat here as the seconds make their way out of the cage. And referee Declan Larkin gets ready to kick off the second stand in this bout.
Wallace looks a little more intense. Glerszewski, you know, he's not got that same sort of anger on his face, but you know, the guy's got skills.
Not starting nearly as fast as he did in the first round, you're right, Jay.
Yeah, and he's not coming in with any kicks behind any of his punches. Therefore, they're not really finding the mark that he wants. He needs to set him up behind his punches if he wants to do some real damage to them and make him hit the mark.
I think from looking at his footwork now and the change since the first round, he could be a little bit tired.
Yeah, Wallace does look the fresher man as this second round starts.
He certainly does.
Glerszewski chases him down the cage though. He's not giving up this one without a fight.
And Glerszewski's corner are urging him to come on. They want him to put the pressure on Wallace to keep it on there.
And a very telegraphed takedown gets easily handled there by Wallace. And I think that was a little bit tiredness from Glerszewski's behalf.
That certainly was telegraphed, as you say. Wallace now in side mount. looking to put him into a crucifix, and he's very close to doing it, in fact.
If he can trap that arm, this is a very dangerous position now for Glerszewski.
This could be a fight ender if Wallace can hold it and land some damage, but it looks like Maciek has managed to do a reversal, but he's in a triangle at the moment. He may not be aware.
Wallace just needed to get that butterfly hook free, but he couldn't do it, and now he's left in a position where he cannot finish that triangle, and it's Glerszewski who went from a really, really dangerous position to getting on top. What a back and forth fight we've had so far.
Oh, this is a great fight. This is the reason why you come to Clan Wars.
And the crowd are really getting behind their man Aaron Wallace on the bottom of the mat.
Yeah, making their presence felt again.
And he's working almost a lockdown position from the bottom. He needs a little bit more. He needs to pummel for underhooks really from this position to be more effective, but he's just hugging the head. But Glerszewski goes to mount and he's immediately reversed. The story of the fight, really.
And now he starts to try and bring the hurt again. Wallace now on top.
Glerszewski looking to hammer fist from the bottom. Wallace needs to use his posture and make him pay.
And Glerszewski's guard isn't even closed. He's in a very, very loose scissors guard there, not trying to do anything with it. So Wallace has impunity now to strike if he wants to take it.
Yeah, and going punch for punch when you're on the bottom is not the brightest idea.
Absolutely not. And Wallace now trying to make him understand why that's the case.
That was a nice hammer fist from the bottom though, but he seems to have angered Wallace with that shot. He might try and find that armbar again that he had near the end of round 1. 10 seconds left.
I have to say Maciek handling the pressure from top very well.
Oh, a couple of good shots there to end the round. Another very tough round. Both guys have spells of success and the crowd is going wild.
And what do you think he's going to be telling Maciek to do in this final round?
Go for broke, I think.
And I think that's probably the only thing that Wallace does. Tremendous show of sportsmanship there in the centre of the ring as two men embrace.
Yeah, and that's what this sport is all about, mutual respect. Both guys martial artists and, you know, respect each other, but they lay it on the line in the cage. Maciek there just telegraphing his shots again a little too much. The more tired he becomes, the more them shots become telegraphed, and Wallace just going straight down the pipe with a straight 1-2.
Wallace seems more the aggressor again in this round. Maciek seemed to be slow starting off the blocks, but a nice leg kick there. Tried a Superman punch, but Wallace read that well and switched off.
Yeah, Wallace has got a nice tight jab and it's winning in most of these exchanges.
I think both men are pretty tired. But
that's better from Glerszewski. He threw his kicks behind the punches and that's when it landed. But just that jab keeps popping out in his face and it's just setting up the range for Wallace. I'd like to see him put a real heavy shot behind it, which he just did.
A nice right there from Wallace. So Maciek shakes it off and fights on.
Yeah, Glerszewski's, he got his head snapped by a right hand there.
That was a bit of a lazy turn on the kick there, almost spelled disaster for Glerszewski.
I mean, both guys have fought hard for 2 rounds, 2.5 rounds. I wonder if they've got anything left in the tank to finish the fight. That power bar is, good straight shots again, but as I say, the power bar decreases, but it's Wallace who looks like, if anyone is going to finish the fight, it might be him.
Absolutely, he just needs another 3-4 inches distance in that right hand, and it could all spell the end.
And he's stalking his man now. I think he fancies his chances. Uppercut and a left hand combination. And that's just too telegraphed. Wallace gets on top. And this is going to be a very long last minute for Maciek there.
It certainly is. Glerszewski on bottom now underneath the mount of Aaron Wallace. The very vocal crowd here at Ulster Hall urging Wallace on for the finish as we come into the closing section of round 3.
And that is a tight, high mount there for Wallace. And he's letting some heavy shots go. There's the fight. Referee Def Larkin calls it. And the crowd are jubilant. Aaron Wallace sits astride the cage in front of us. What a finish. And what heart to keep going that late into the 3rd round. And to pick out a stoppage like that, you've got to respect him. A valiant opponent. but Wallace just one step ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by TKO in the 3rd round, Aaron Wallace. And give it up for his opponent, folks, Maciej Glerszewski.